I grabbed the wrong video. Hello and welcome back to another episode of The Takedown. It is a Jackrabbit Illustrated podcast, and we're brought to you, as always, by the Kubota dealers of South Dakota. If you need any farm equipment or anything around your house or a mower or construction equipment, Kubota's got you covered with 9 dealers around the state to get you satisfied. I am joined by my co-hosts Alex and Jordan, and as always, it's our season preview. We're welcoming Coach Damian Hahn. Thank you so much, Coach Hahn, for hopping on tonight. How you doing?
I'm doing better now. I'm talking to you guys. So, no, all is good, man. This is the start to another season. We kick off this weekend, and I couldn't be more excited. You say it every year, but we get a new kind of influx of kids. You get to see some of your veterans coming back, and honestly, some of our veterans, coming off injury and seeing how they're going to fare. And it's an awesome time of year, man. I mean, I wouldn't have it any other way.
I think Jordan wants to talk a little bit tonight about the Jackrabbit Wrestling Club. Why don't you lead us off there, Jordan?
Yeah, so we'll start by just chit-chatting here a little bit about how the summer went with the JWC. I know that we had Tommy went out and won gold, if I remember correctly, and then there's a couple other kids that went and wrestled some this year. So just talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so obviously, wrestling's a unique sport in itself. I talk about it all the time. It's unlike any other sport, in the collegiate ranks. Most sports, when they get done with their season, they kind of go on, I don't want to say go on break, but the competition part really, really dies down. For us, once the collegiate season stops, our guys jump right into competition again and training with the international styles. We are the only country in the world that wrestles what you would call folk style, what you see in high school, youth, and college. Only country in the world that does that. And so every other country wrestles freestyle and Greco. So once we get done with the season, I think the U.S. Open is in April. It's usually right around Jazza. So I since I've been here at South Dakota State going on 8 years, I've yet to go to the U.S. Open because of Jazza. But we have our guys that go and, compete.
So usually you, me, and Chad are watching a couple matches back by the bar while that's going on.
Yeah, for those folks that don't know, that's the Jackrabbit Scholarship off.
Yeah. And so we send a strong contingent out to the Open, and they compete freestyle and Greco. Quinn Morgan, he won a U.S. Open title in Greco at, I think it's 96 kilos or 97 kilos. Qualified him for the World Team Trials in Ohio, and then our guys train. We go to U23s, and then the U23 Nationals and World Team Trials, and U20 World Team Trials in June. And Tommy made the finals. Tommy Deneen in the U23 freestyle, 97 kilos. And dropped the match in the finals. He had a really, really good tournament in regards to, the competition, who he wrestled. In the semifinals, he beat Iowa's starter, who's the starter this year, beat him in the semifinals, stuck to a great game plan, goes out there and beats him. And then in the finals, he drops some matches in the finals, doesn't make the world team, but he qualified for the Pan American Championship. So he goes on and goes down to Paraguay and wins a gold medal. And then Quinn Morgan, because he was a U.S. Open champ, qualified for the Pan American Games, which is a little bit different. And he at the U20 division and went down to Peru and took a silver medal in Greco. And so we had guys competing all summer, training, and just kind of keep honing their craft, right? And the nice thing, or nice, cool, whatever you want, however you want, phrase it. These guys have opportunity, and there aren't very many places out there that are doing some of the things that we're doing, providing the opportunity for these kids, not only just for competition, but how awesome is it that they get to go to a different country? They get to experience a different culture. For Tommy, this was the first time he's ever left the continental United States, and it was an experience in itself for him. And so, I mean, pretty unique. And they got to wrestle on it. So that is all funded, through our Jackrabbit Wrestling Club, our JWC. All those events, all those calls, all those functions that we put on, all that money goes back into these kids to help prepare them not only for wrestling, but for life. And we try to provide every opportunity we can. And so we took, I don't know, in the low teens out to the U.S. Open. We took 20 some odd guys out to the U23s in Ohio. And so, like, this just doesn't happen, right? I mean, we got to put the time in. We got to raise the money. We got to do the things necessary to get these guys to these places so they can continue to get better and get competition. So it's all for a great cause. And let me tell you, our guys greatly appreciate the support that they have here in Brookings. And, honestly, it's broader than that because we have a pretty big base, with our guys coming from coast to coast. And, but they're appreciative of the opportunities that they get. And so it's awesome. It really is. And so we send coaches with them. Cam went down to Paraguay. Cody went down to Peru, and so it was just a great experience for all these guys, and something that they'll remember forever.
One thing that's just striking me here, it looks like your background's different. Tell us a little bit about that. And we haven't talked about that at all, but I know that's finally done, and maybe you can talk about it a little bit.
Yeah, usually my background, I used to have 2 kids, pictures in the background. I'd be downstairs in the basement. Well, I would show you this room. This is technically
it's fine.
The new office, but it's not unpacked yet. And so we moved. We put our house on the market we went to nationals and put our house on the market back in March. And in that whole process, we started building a house last fall, and it got done around at the beginning of June or so. And so we moved in, and we're still moving in. We have boxes everywhere, and
that's how that works.
I thought it'd be easy, and holy heck, it is not. We try to go through, a box every so often, and it's definitely tough when you got kids and they're getting older and they're in every activity, sport, whatever it may be, carting them all around, town, the country. And so, we're still unpacking. I think I got a box in our living room right now. And it's going well. It's going well. And it's awesome. It's awesome.
I just know it's a lot of stress, and just want to congratulate you on finally getting moved in.
Appreciate it.
Mats set up in the basement yet?
So that's funny you say that. They're not in the basement, and I haven't pulled them over yet. They're in so we were kind of moving out little by little out of our old house, and I still have boxes sitting in our buddy's barn, and that's where our mats are right now. And so my wife, I'm leaving this weekend. We head down to, we got a group going up to Fargo. We got a group going down to Columbia, Missouri. So we'll be on the road, but Terry's going to run over and grab the couple mats that we have. And she's like, we need to put them in the garage. And I was like, all right, I'm down. Let's put them in the garage, and we'll get the kiddos out there, hopefully beating the snot out of each other.
There you go. Well, Ty, what you said there, Coach, will let you take it either way. Got a pretty good lineup and a pretty good schedule this year. Talked about going down to the Tiger Style Open and then send some guys up to the Bison Open to Fargo. What are some of the events? I mean, obviously you're looking forward to any opportunity to compete, but what are some of those events you're looking forward to? I know you're always a big proponent of the NWCA duels, Cliff Keen.
Yep.
So maybe highlight some of the schedule this year and let folks know when they can catch the Jacks wrestling.
Yeah, so this year starts a little bit different for us. Usually it was always the Bison, and we are sending a group to the Bison, mainly some of our younger guys. And some of our returners, some older guys, we're going to take them to a different event. And reason being, the Bison and the DAC. The DAC last year had a pretty good contingent of teams. But as you do know, Fargo and Brookings, they're kind of out on islands by themselves.
Yep.
They're not as easy to get to. And so just some of the numbers, it made some sense to get some of our guys some I don't want to say different competition, but get them matches that they need against some high quality opponents. And so we're going to go take, I think we're taking 20 guys down to Columbia, Missouri, and there's, I think, 5 or 6 teams. The max amount of kids you can bring is 20. So I think most of the teams going are going to have right around that, and it's going to be high level competition. So I'm excited. It's a new event for us, and it's kind of I want to say a little early because we are wrestling at the Bison, but it's right on target for that first competition. And then obviously we always open up the following weekend with a home duel in the DAC. But some of the scheduling this year, I had some questions, and I don't know how much people think about it or not. It's like, I don't usually make our schedule to a certain extent, right? We are in, a conference, and the conference usually comes up with that schedule. So I had some of our fans that were like, "What? We're not wrestling Oklahoma State?" Well, I didn't have anything.
You don't get to pick that.
You know what I mean? We are on a 2-year cycle. So last year we did not wrestle Oklahoma State, and then it just flip-flopped, right? Our homes were aways and our aways were home. So this year we head out to Minnesota. That's going to be a little bit different as well, because usually we wrestle after Thanksgiving. We decided to do it before Thanksgiving. And it's going to be a midweek. It's going to be on a Tuesday evening. And we kind of looked at that, and every year we've wrestled Minnesota right after Thanksgiving, and then we leave 3 days later to go to Vegas. And it's like every year we say the same thing: we're not doing that again. We're not doing that again. Well, finally we pulled the trigger, and we were like, we're not going to do it. And so we decided Minnesota was good with it, so we're wrestling on a Tuesday. And then our guys will be able to have, Thanksgiving and enjoy themselves, and then we'll leave that following week to go to Vegas. And you guys know,
now cutting weight's going to be bad.
Yeah, right. The Cliff Keen is the premier first semester tournament. It might be the premier tournament in the country outside the conference and national tournament.
I'd say it's the best in-season tournament in my opinion.
Yeah, it's amazing. And so we'll head out to Vegas. I'm excited for that because that's their kind of big opportunity to really see teams we don't see. And they get great competition. So we'll get out there. Usually the weather's a little bit nicer than in Brookings at that time. So that'll be good. And then we're not traveling this year in the sense of we try to throw in a trip at the end of that first semester. Last year we went out east and we were able to pick up some duels. This year we're bringing in Campbell, and they're heading out to Northern Colorado. They're going to hit us on the way back. So that'll be, we've never wrestled Campbell. I think it'll be a great opportunity. And then, we go to Soldier Salute. Soldier Salute will bring a lot of our guys. They'll get good competition. And then really we start getting into the heart of things, with dual meets. You got Arizona State wrestling at the Pentagon this year. That'll be a fun event. And we did it a couple of years ago when we wrestled Michigan. And I think it was sold out, 3,500 people. And I mean, they had smoke, lights, and the all the effects, and our guys loved it. And so we got Arizona State on the docket for the Pentagon in early January, and then we are going back to the national duels, the NWCA duels. So that'll be good. And then from there, I mean, we have our normal Big 12 competition. Probably, there's going to be some challenges. I think, this year, every team has their individuals that are I don't want to say standouts, but they're going to create some challenges for some of our guys, whether it be style matchups, just that competition component. And so I'm excited for those moments for our guys. And then probably our two big duels, that second semester, we're going to wrestle Iowa State. That's going to be a fun one because
you're probably getting to it, but why are we doing that in Humboldt for people? I've gotten some questions on
Okay,
that.
so Dresser is from Humboldt.
That's kind of what I assumed.
Yeah, Dresser's from Humboldt, and I don't know where Humboldt is in Iowa, but I guess it's a pretty intense wrestling community, and it's in a small venue, a small gym, and they've done it there, a number of times over the years, and it to my knowledge and what I've been told, it's like busting out of the seams. And so we're going to go there, wrestle in Humboldt, and then we'll have UNI at home, the Border Bells at home this year, and then we gear up for the conference tournament. So it's a packed schedule. I don't think it's anything too different, what it looks like after kind of this event that we're going to this weekend. But it's exciting, man. We'll get on the road and wrestle some good competition and get after it. Oh, you're checking out Humboldt, huh? Where is it located? I don't even know.
It looks like it's, if I had to guess, my distance isn't good. It's an hour and a half southeast of Spencer. So
okay,
a little bit of a drive.
Yeah, it'd be fun. So, right north of Storm Lake. Okay.
Straight east of Storm Lake.
Oh, okay. I thought, I saw Spencer. I thought it was, okay, I see. So where's Des Moines?
South of there. Like straight south.
Gotcha. All right. So it's a nice little haul. Good.
So let's say that somebody wants to go to that duel. Do you know how you go about getting tickets for that?
Great question, man. Ask me next week, and I might have a better answer because I am not sure. I don't know how Dresser is kind of putting it together, and I don't even know what the capacity is for their venue. I'm sure it's a tiny little high school. It might be like might be a Class A. I don't know, Class A school, which is the smaller. So, but it'll be jam packed. And let me tell you, Iowa State, like the preseason rankings came out, and I think they're top 10 ranked team wise. I think they're like 7th or something like that. Dude, they might be the second best team in America right now.
Yeah.
I mean, they got 10 returning national qualifiers, hell, 7 All-Americans. 3 of them, I think at least 3 of them are transfers, and so they are packing some heat, this year. But it's early, right? And I think the biggest thing is, hey, there's no secret. You got to have a little luck on your side, but you have to stay healthy. If you can stay healthy, man, that's half the damn battle. And we saw it last year.
Yes.
From the Big 12s to the national tournament. I mean, we had dudes dropping like flies, and it wasn't little things. I mean, they were, I would say, catastrophic, but in my eyes, they were. I mean, you had everything is going to plan, everything's right, and then all of a sudden, boom, 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 things happen.
Drake and Zach were dinged up pretty good at the national tournament.
I mean, it was like a domino effect. And so we got to stay healthy. That's the biggest thing, especially, you got these combat sports, freak things happen all the time, right? And especially like in team sports, or, you got football, guy falls into another guy and blows his leg out or something like that. Like
Craft.
Yeah, there you go. Ours is a little bit different. You can kind of control some of that because it's just one-on-one, but it's so physical. It's so physical that when things happen, it's a split second, and hey, nothing you can do about it. So you got to prepare yourself. You don't want to wrestle nervous or tentative, but you got to be aware of what's happening. And so that makes the season tricky at times.
So as we were talking here a little bit ago, I don't know, Chad or Alex, you guys want to put that guy's question up?
Yep.
But Seth here has a great question. There's a question I had on my list to ask tonight too. How does the whole Micah deal go with him being football and then wrestling, being a two-sport D1 athlete? How do you handle that?
So that's a great question. Micah right now, his focus is football. And he is, he's going to start coming in on Sundays and just kind of roll around. I don't want to say wrestling's like riding a bike. It kind of is to a certain extent. But he's going to come in and just roll around a little bit. But his first priority right now is going to be football. And he's doing different things in there. He's training, he's getting his reps and doing all that. But as far as competition goes for Micah, I don't know if we'll see him compete this first semester. Second semester, once things wrap up, football related, he'll be able to be on the mat more, and he'll be able to wrestle in some open competitions. We've really been taking it slow. There's not a whole lot of rush from us. I think he possesses some skills, man, that could make him really, really good heavyweight. I mean, there's no secret. It's you look at what he's been able to do up to this point. He's super athletic. I mean, there's not very many kids that can play football and wrestling, at the collegiate level. And he's big, he's athletic, he's explosive. He's got some of those tangible things that could make him really, really, really freaking good. But right now, his priority is football, and I'm fine with that. Right? There's no rush from our standpoint. He competed this summer. He, was an All-American, and he did all those things. And then along with doing the training camps with football. And so, I mean, he was doing a lot, this summer, and now kind of in the heart of football, just focus on that, do what you need to do. And then once that kind of starts dwindling down, then we'll put some more emphasis on the mat.
So he's not the lineman that gained 50 pounds that Coach Jackson was talking about the other day, probably.
No.
He's still going to wrestle.
Yeah.
If he puts on too much weight, he can't wrestle. So.
Yeah. No, he hovers around 300. So it's not terrible. And look, football, and I'm not a football guy. You guys know that. I know that I've seen some of the practices. I've seen what they do, and it's very long, right? I feel like some of their practices are super long because they're trying to walk through plays and do all these different kind of schemes and all that jazz. Where, wrestling practice, you're looking at an hour and a half, warm up, get after it, conditioning, hour and a half. And in that hour and a half time, he'll probably lose 10 plus pounds. Right. And so I'm not necessarily worried about the weight component of it because they're feeding the kids like nobody's business. I mean, like they're just consuming tons of calories, and being a heavyweight, being a lineman like he is. I mean, yeah, he's got to stay big and strong. He can use his hands very well, right? He's got some athleticism. He can use his hands. He's got that length. Once he shifts back over to wrestling, he'll just watch it a little bit, and the weight won't be an issue. I mean, he's doing everything they ask. I mean, he's lifting hard, practicing hard, and so I just think that's where he's at right now as far as weight goes. I mean, I hear he's moving some serious weight in the weight room, and so that's awesome, right? I think it's good.
A lot of them hip work things is great for wrestling. So let's get in the meat of this season a little bit. Talk about what we have for a lineup versus what we had. Maybe we lost some all-time greats, kind of. A few guys graduated, and we backfilled those positions. So if you go through the lineup a little bit for us, we'd sure appreciate that, so people know what to expect this year.
Yeah. I was not today, but yesterday. The last couple of days, me and Cam sitting there talking, and we both agreed that we think what we have in the room right now is, and it's kind of hard to conceptualize a little bit, but we think it's the best talent we've ever had in our room currently. If you look at what these guys have done, what they're bringing to the table, I mean, we brought in, eight, nine freshmen, and you look at the returners, you look at, just the accomplishments up to this point. I mean, really freaking good. And so we're excited. We have some depth at some weight classes that we haven't really had in the past. And it's depth to where I think, if a guy goes down, a guy can step in and, do the job, right? So there's gonna be some challenges, this year, and I think it's a good thing as a coach, having the depth that we have and the personnel that we have is awesome. As an athlete, they could get a little stressed about, they want to be the guy, right? They want to be the guy. And it creates, if you let it, it can create a bad environment, right? But that's not how we run our program necessarily. And I think, everyone, for the most part, there's a standard, and I don't want to say is it always equal or fair or anything like that, but we try to do our absolute best when it comes to our kids and put them in opportunities. So and right out of the gate, you talked about some of the guys we graduated, and some of the greats that we've had, Tanner Jordon, shit, man, he's been a staple at 125 for how many years? And he's an All-American, and you knew what you got with the kid. He went out there, and we know, I mean, this is not a knock on him. He wasn't the most athletic kid, but let me tell you, you couldn't find a tougher kid.
No one tougher.
Oh my God. and come to find out, he was one of the guys that he would never tell you, but after the NCAA tournament, he's telling us his knee was bothering him. Well, he was wrestling on a torn ACL, and it's like, what? I mean, like, just a hard-nosed kid that, he would never tell you anything because he didn't want anybody to think that he was going to make an excuse. I mean, that dude got everything he earned, and super excited for him. Backing him up last year, Brady Roark, he went out, had a good couple weekends, and then got injured. And, he hurt his back, early last season and did not see another competition. I think he got 5 matches, maybe at most. and then he went out the year with injury. So he's back, and he beat some decent kids last year. He beat Laridson, from Nebraska. He beat you could say, I didn't finish the match. Yeah, he took him down twice, and then Figueroa from Arizona State injury defaulted out of the match, right? So he's got some talent, man. I mean, he's good, and so I'm excited for him. Danny, Guanajuato, he was in the finals at U23s. He's at down to 25, and so there's going to be some battles there. At 133, we have a slew of guys. You got a returning national qualifier, Derek Cardinal, and he's in his senior year. And what I like most about 33, you got two freaking young bucks that are pushing him, right? And I'll tell you, they want to do everything they can because they want to be the guy. You got Logan Swenson and Cale Seaton that are literally riding his tail, and so that's awesome to have. Have that competition. Out of the gate, you're looking at Derek Cardinal. He's nationally ranked, returning national qualifier. You could say, okay, he's got a leg up. Okay, it is what it is. But these guys are going to challenge. And so at 41, you got Julian Tagg, returning national qualifier. Had a really solid year last year. He battled some injuries early, and that kind of kept all season long, but he fought through it. And let me tell you, man, Julian Tagg, he's freaking good. I don't think there's a guy in the country he can't beat. His skill level, his wrestling IQ, I mean, he is fun to watch. And
well, you watch him wrestle, his head, hands, your three lines of defense, his head, hands, and hips are always exactly where they're supposed to be. He's never in bad position.
He moves, and so he's fun, man. And
he might be better than his brother.
Yeah, I mean, like if you look at kind of their careers, I guess you could say. I mean, like he's pushing that. He really is. And Gabe did great for us. He finished up and graduated, and he's an Army Ranger now. And
no way.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, he's the military was the kind of the end goal for him, and wrestling was the path that got him there and got him prepared. And now, he's a Ranger. At 49, you got Alec Martin back, right? You got Alec Martin back off injury last year. He tore his ACL. Well, he rehabbed. He did everything he needed to do. He's back. He's nationally ranked, right? You got a handful of other guys that want that spot. I mean, but you got Alec Martin who's ranked, and he's gonna push, and so that's fun. Cale Swenson back, right? He was out last year, same kind of situation, out with a season-ending injury with his knee, and he's back, and it's fun to have some of these guys, that have been part of the program and just, from the infancy of it, from their careers, and see what they're doing and how they're motivating guys and how they're pushing the young guys to kind of better themselves. So you got Swenson back, nationally ranked at 65. They still have Drake Rhodes in the rankings, and that's fine. But last year at the conference tournament, that's when Drake went down, and he tried to wrestle through it. It was tough. He ended up getting surgery after the season. So it's a high probability. I'm not going to say it's for sure, but I mean, we need to get him healthy. And if that means we take the year, we take the year. Sure. His health is going to be the most important thing. So, Marcus has kind of stepped up and he's been doing great. I mean, Marcus had a solid season last year. I mean, he beat some ranked guys along the way. So that's going to be fun to see, some guys battling it out at 65, right? 74, you lose one of our greats, Cade DeVos. I was literally over in Frost today talking about, DeVos, and he was good coming out of high school. Okay. He was good coming out of high school. I went to Southeast Polk, and we got him to come up here, to South Dakota State. One of the big reasons, obviously the wrestling component, but he wanted pharmacy. And, there are very intelligent athletes out there. I get it. And I've been around them. DeVos is on a different level, man. Like, the dude is in it. And he loves what he does. And so we were able to keep DeVos, and he's a GA for us, and he's got 2 more years of pharmacy school. So he's in the room every day, working with guys. And he's just an absolute joy to be around because he kind of went through some hard times. He switched weight classes. He got bigger. He got better, and just handling the rigors of the academics and becoming a 2-time All-American. Awesome. Absolutely awesome. And so he's been kind of hands-on with a lot of our guys, around that, from anywhere from 57 up to, 97, really. And he'll jump in there with Raz whenever the hell I tell him to. So that's great. And, he's sitting around. Then yeah, you're damn right. He's sitting around 200 pounds, and he looks amazing. And so he's been helping out a lot. And, at 74, they have Moses, Marcus's brother. Moses was at 57 last year. Crazy. And now he's up at 74. He's big, he's strong, everything that he's doing. The hardest thing for Moses last year, my opinion, was his weight, right? Him and his brother are 65 pounders, and they happen to be at the same damn weight class. So Moses went down to 57, and it was tough. It was tough for him. Now being up at 74 and not having that weight kind of component, his training is better because he's not so focused on his weight. Marcus and Moses, those two are built like brick houses, and they are as strong as it. So they're going to compete well, at those 2 weight classes, and they're going to be challenged, right? We have other guys in our room that are going to push them for those spots, but Moses is nationally ranked, so that's great. 84, we got a little bit of a switch, Bennett makes a switch and gives an opportunity for some of those guys. And Brock Fettig is nationally ranked at 184. Brock beat a couple good guys last year, took 3rd at Soldier Salute, beat Isaac Dean, who was at Ryder and then transferred to Iowa State. So Brock has been, Brock's been kind of a utility man. He's wrestled 65, 74, 84, 97. He's wrestled it all. And he's kind of found his way, I guess you could say, into 84. That is a good weight for him, because at 97 last year he wrestled a little bit, and he was trying to get big, and he was doing everything he could, and 200 pounds was hit about max. And so 84 is a good size for him. But we got some young guys again. You got a guy like Burt Blasius, who's a South Dakota boy. He'll be at 84. He'll push them, and it'll be a good test for some of these guys. And Brock's nationally ranked, and then you go up to 97, and Bennett makes the shift and goes up to 97. Bennett's 210 pounds, and he's gotten bigger, he's gotten stronger. And I think the big thing there was, Bennett got hurt. Bennett got hurt at the national tournament, and he did not step back on the mat until the summer, and he was wrestling with a brace. And so the goal for him, obviously to get healthy and kind of get that knee back to where it needed to be. He didn't need surgery, but needed to get that knee healthy. He had to lift. He had to get big. He had to get strong. And when you're cutting weight, and it's the same thing with Drake, right? Drake certified this year for us, and I told him, I said, Drake, listen, I'm gonna be honest, and I said, listen, I'm counting on you not wrestling this year. I mean, I'm not going to force you back. Like, that's just not, I don't think that's what's best. If you want to wrestle, that's got to be your call. That's not going to be mine. And he said, okay. And the same thing with Drake. I said, Drake, if you're going to certify at a certain weight class and doing what you're doing as far as rehab and all that, I was like, you're going to have to cut a little bit of weight, and cutting some weight is not good for
rehab.
For the rehab component, right? It's not good for the healing process. And so I said, get as big as you can, dude. You know, lift hard, you know, eat right, and do all the things that you need to do. The weight should be the last concern. And so, I mean, hell, I think Drake hit 190 pounds, you know, I mean, he's not small. And let me tell you, he is slapped together. Like 190-pound Drake Rhodes. I mean, goodness gracious, like body like a goddamn Adonis. And like, he looks great. And so, kind of the same thing with Bennett. It was like, Bennett, man, you got to get that knee healthy, eat, fuel your body, you know, do your rehab, do your workouts, get big, get strong. And I didn't know how big he was going to get, and he got big. And so, you know, he decided, he was like, hey, listen, you know, I want to go up. I want to go up to 97. And, you know, I was like, hey, man, that's your call. That's not mine. That's your call. If that's something you want to do, I was like, okay. You know, we have other guys there. We have 2 young guys that have literally been battling and trying to vie for that spot. And so, with Tommy and Quinn Morgan. And so, you got a little bit of a trifecta going on there. It'll figure itself out. I mean, you got Bennett, who's a returning All-American, and they wrestle all the time, right? We do match day every Friday, you know, and I mean, these guys scrap and they'll figure it out amongst themselves. Obviously, Bennett being returning All-American and having the edge on those guys, I mean, it is what it is. Those guys, I mean, go out, they're going to compete this weekend. You know, Bennett's not wrestling this weekend. Those guys are going to go down to Soldier Salute. There's some really good competition down there, or not Soldier Salute, you know, the Tiger style. And there's some ranked guys. Go out there and prove it. Go out there and prove yourself, and you have that opportunity. And then, you know, it's funny. This is the first year, I think, that Luke Raz is the lone soldier at heavyweight. I mean, literally in the 7 going on 8 years I've been here, dude, we've had one point where we had 5 heavyweights. We got 1 right now. And so we need to be extremely conscious of that.
Judicious.
We can go down. And if that happens, you know, we got to move up one of our 97 pounders, and I think they can handle it. But, you know, Luke's, you know, go back to Bennett, you know, Bennett's ranked, you know, 7th in the country at 197, right? You got at heavyweight, Raz is, I think, top 20 in the country at heavyweight. And, you know, we all know Luke, and, you know, he's got a super unique style.
Way different than most heavyweights.
Yeah. And it's very frustrating for people to wrestle because of his length and his ability to do certain things that most kind of compact or, you know, bigger heavyweights can't move like him. And you know, he had a amazing run, you know, last year at the Big 12 championships, and took 3rd and got to the national tournament, which was a big deal. And goes out there and wins a match, you know, at NCAAs. And so he's excited. He's excited to keep climbing the ranks. And I think he has the ability, he possesses the skills to be one of the best heavyweights, you know, in the country, because he is unique in what he does. You know, he's not going to go out there and, you know, pick a guy up and slam him on their head. No. But he's going to get on top of you, and he's going to turn the crap out of you. And so
how many heavyweights are practicing leg defense every week?
Yeah. And you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I mean, he's got such a unique style. and it works. It works for him. So at heavyweight, you got Luke Raz, top 20 ranked, and again, you got every guy, at a weight class, they have a ranking to start with. I mean, that's huge, and especially when you got a guy moving up 2 weight classes that was technically a backup last year at 57, and they have him ranked at 174. It kind of shows you some of that depth that we have and how good it is. And so I think all around, like I said before, this is some of the best talent we've ever had in our program. And that says a lot, because you're talking about guys like Sloan and DeVos and, Carlson and, another Carlson and another Carlson. And I
Keep
mean,
them coming. We love them all.
yeah. Right. And so you're talking about some of those guys, Tanner Jordon and Cook and all these guys that have kind of come through. The talent is some of the best right now. It really is. And that's what gets you excited, because these guys come in, they kind of understand what we are looking for. The younger guys, you got to show them the ropes a little bit, but they understand what we're looking for. And the bar is set. The bar is set. The standard is there for these guys. And watching some of our young guys, it's like they want more. They're pushing some of these older guys, and it's like, hell yeah, that's what you want. And I think it's lit fires in some of our guys, because in the past, without that depth, it's almost like you've gotten comfortable. And now, no, I don't think that's the case. We got some guys that want that challenge, and it's awesome to see. It's a great problem to have. Now we just got to make sure they get all the competitions they can get, right? All the opportunities they can get to help keep bettering themselves for when they do have that opportunity to be the guy.
You talked about match days are on Fridays. Is that just my own curiosity, does that mean it's like an Iowa red flag day? We kind of modeled that at my high school. We had black flag day, but it's like an Iowa red flag day where it's going to be all live wrestling and that sort of thing. Or is it like wrestle-offs every Friday? That's just my curiosity there.
So I hate wrestle-offs.
You do?
Sure.
Oh, I mean, dude,
I think you can have too many in a season. So I think that's probably what you're getting at. But
this is my reasoning, right? These guys wrestle each other all the time, and you get to the point where you know what the other guy's going to do wrestling, and you might be able to figure him out and beat him. But you go to a competition, and this guy does better. Yeah. So it's about performance, right? Sure. I could care less. We've had, I don't know, my going on 8 years, I think we've had 3 wrestle-offs in 8 years, official wrestle-offs. And that was because we broke it down to the 10th degree, and there was no separation. It was literally, it was like last year. At 149 with Dupill and Avery Allen. You would have Dupill go out there, and all of us, he's right, and you're like, holy shit, wow, he's doing great. He's probably the guy. And then he would take a loss to someone probably he shouldn't have, and then Avery would go wrestle and beat that guy that he lost to, and then Avery would take a loss to a guy that Dupill beat. And so it was just like, what the heck's going on? And so it finally, we could not decide because it was so close. And we had to wrestle off. And, Avery came out on top. It was what it was. I don't want to do that all season long. I want these guys to kind of solidify themselves early so they can get the matches that they need. But going back to what you said, so, our training week, you got that Monday is usually one of our hardest days, right? It's probably our longest, our hardest, where we try to get a lot of volume in. And then we start to scale back as the week goes on, right? And, Wednesdays is our lift. We have a drift lift on Monday morning, afternoon practice. On Tuesday, you have your afternoon practice. On Wednesday, your afternoon practice is our lift. So you got your 2 lifts in. Thursday, it's a little bit backed off, and then Friday, in a normal season, Fridays usually you're competing and getting ready for the weekend. So we try to get our guys in that mindset, in that mode. So Friday is usually our match days. In the last couple of weeks, we've been having weight descents and bringing our guys' weights down. So it was I don't know how many weeks ago they had to make 5% of their weight class. Then it was 3%. Then it was 1%. And then last week it was scratch weight, and we did matches. So what it feels like. And on a Friday, we usually, we use the circles when we can. Our guys will ref them and, keep time and score. And we try to get at least 3 matches for our guys, depending on where they are, in the sense of if a guy's coming back from injury, a little banged up, whatever it may be. But on average, they usually get about 3 matches. And so those just don't happen. And it's not like we're not watching, you know what I mean? And I get it. You could say it's practice or whatever, but dude, they're scrapping. And they're getting after it. And so you're paying attention as a coach, right? You're seeing the little intricacies, right? You're seeing guys, so on Friday, we tell them they weigh in 2 hours before. They weigh in, they need to prepare themselves just like they would a match or, a duel or a tournament. And then when 4 o'clock hits, it's go time. And so you should have been warmed up. You go through your warm up at 4 o'clock. We wrestle, and so we get out there. I'll ref. Cam, Cody, whatever. Some of our guys jump in and ref, and we're paying attention. And you would be amazed. Like there are some days where you have a veteran who usually just kicks the snot out of somebody. Well, he took it for granted and didn't watch his weight right. And in his second match, he's feeling like shit. And you have one of these young guys who, I don't want to say kind of put it on him, but I mean, like, we'll kind of push him hard. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, damn, like what happened? And you can usually pinpoint and figure some things out. And so we pay attention and we know, I mean, like I could, without bias, I could probably go through and tell you who the best guy is, right? But is that going to be the guy necessarily? Because the best guy in our room might not be the best guy out there, in that competition. And I mean, I saw it at Minnesota when I was there. One of my roommates, Brett Lawrence, who ended up being an All-American as a senior, he would beat the guy in the room all the time. Beat him in the room every single day. Just kind of put it on him. And then when it came to match time and a tournament, Bart Goyler outplaced them, just outperformed him every time. And so the coaches made the decision. They were like, hey, listen, he's the guy. And Bart Goyler goes out there and becomes an All-American. And so I think at some point, and this isn't, I don't mean it to be mean or anything like that, but at the end of the day, it's our responsibility to put the best team out on that mat, right? I mean, that's how it is. Now, you earn that, you have your opportunities, and you got to take advantage of it. And if you have a guy, proven, that does carry some weight, right? But if you want to be that guy, go out there and prove that you are the guy. I don't give a shit if you beat your teammate. Like, that means nothing. You got to prove that you can beat the rest of the country, because that's what matters. And so every Friday we have those match days just to kind of take those mental notes and see what's happening in our room and who's battling, who can handle it, who can't handle it, who needs to work on this, that, or the other. But it's a good test. It's a good test for our guys because you can tell the ones that, I don't want to say it means more to them, but you can tell the ones that it's like, hey, here's an opportunity for me, build some confidence, or here's an opportunity for me to kind of get a leg up on somebody. And they go after it. So it's fun. It's not official by any means, but it's fun, right? I mean, these guys get to go and scrap. So that's what they came to college to do, is to wrestle. So wrestle.
So here we sit, 2025, 26. It's year 8, right? This is going to be year 8 for you.
Yeah, man.
What's one thing that you either wish to change and are going to change this year that you've been wanting to institute, or one thing that you had done in the past that you want to bring back, that you, something that maybe at some point you weren't able to do? What's one thing that you're focusing on this year?
I think the biggest thing for us with the team that we currently have is, and again, nothing against any one of our kids. I mean, last year was different for us. Okay. We had a situation, right? We brought in some transfers that came to our program because of whatever. And great kids, love each and every one of them. But that kind of upset the apple cart a little bit, that was tough for some of our kids. And, on the flip side, you can say, well, life's tough. You got to deal with that, right? No, to a certain extent, I agree, right? But one of the things that I talk about to people and whoever is culture. And we have really good culture within our program. Our kids, like, there's a mutual respect between us. And I think that happens from a number of different reasons. One, it's built, right? It takes time to build that trust and respect between each other. And because they see us on a daily basis, they see us investing the time, they see what we do, that all goes back to them. And all of a sudden, when you have, some transfers come in, it's just like, hey, what about me? Right. And it's almost, they feel like I don't want to say doing them wrong, but I mean, they're kids and they're people and they have feelings and so on. So that was something that going into this year, I really, really did not want something like that to happen again, because it did affect our culture. And I thought there was a lot of positives that came with it, but there's always negatives. And nothing against them, because, I mean, you talk about Zach, you talk about Kobe, you talk about Drake. I mean, like, freaking A, man, you want to talk about salt of the earth people? They're amazing people. But looking at this year, that was kind of a situation that I didn't want to go down that path again. And we didn't go down that path. And I think our guys, I don't want to say bonded better over it, but it was the culture. There was no interruption with that having to, it's like a job, right? I mean, you get a new employee. How long does it take for them to get onboarded and kind of get into the system and understand what we're trying to do? Like, there was none of that. And so everybody it was just full steam ahead. And that was nice for our guys. And so that was fun, not having to kind of go through that. This year, hey, is there a chance it could happen in the future? Of course, there's always a chance. But it's nice when you don't necessarily have to, because you got those guys. And so we didn't look to go after anybody, in the portal. I think our personnel is great, and what we're doing, our guys are bought in and ready to go. Another thing I'll change is don't get hurt. Okay.
If only it was just that easy.
Yeah. So if any of my guys, and it's funny. We talk before practice. We'll have some announcements, and we could talk about practice plan or whatever it is. And usually when Simez gets up, he'll go through a practice plan. I'll go through his announcements, and then the last one, it's like, okay, now nobody get hurt. All right, let's go to practice. It's like it's funny, but it's true, because holy hell, man, like just going through some of the things that last year and early summer, and it was just like, why I get it. Wrestling's a combat sport. It's brutal. Things happen, guys tweak things here and there, or hell, right, you get some sort of skin thing or whatever, right? It's like, let's do everything we can, right? Control the controllables. And I can't stress that enough, to our guys. And you're talking about 18 to 22-year-old kids. They think they're invincible, and trying to get them to understand, hey, look, do you know how good you're going to be, or how much better you're going to feel, or how much more you're going to improve on the mat if you just go to bed at a decent time and get 8 hours of sleep? Like it just doesn't register at that age.
No, it doesn't. But you get to our age, and it's like, I got to go to bed at 10, or I'm a jerk the next day.
Right?
Above average wrestler in high school, and how much better I could have been if I would have eaten a little cleaner and slept a little more.
Yeah. And like you try to reiterate to these guys, the best thing that you can do for your overall health is sleep. I mean, it's like the reset button, and I'm guilty as charged, right? I'll be up till, probably 1 o'clock tonight, doing random different things. And so I do as I say, not as I do. But get sleep, recover. Like, that is so important. Eat, fuel your body, make sure you're doing the things that you have control over, right? I mean, you can't prevent someone going out there and tripping into you and breaking your leg. You can't prevent that sometimes. But hey, nobody is kind of forcing you, to put that chicken wing in your mouth, or, drink pop, or, go to bed, at 1 o'clock in the morning. Just like, you control those things. Just do it. And I know, I get it. It's easier said than done, but that's huge, man. That's huge. And taking care of your body. I mean, you do that, you're better prepared for what's to come. That's just the bottom line.
So much wisdom in there.
Oh yeah. I'm waiting for one of you guys to say, okay, Captain Obvious. All right.
It's obvious, but if it was easy, everyone would
it
do
bears
it.
mind.
I would be 100 pounds lighter.
I'm with you there. But no, it's true, right? I mean, the little things that we take for granted, that's the deciding factor. It really is. I mean, the deciding factor in a lot of these guys' pathways, performances, what they're going to do, those little intricacies, and they add up over time. And you don't see it now, but at some point, hey, it all comes out in the wash. And if you're doing everything right and you don't get what you want, you can't be disappointed, because you did everything right. Okay? Now, you all know the guys. I mean, we've all been there. It's like, I could have, I should have. I mean, that happens every time. And it's like, well, and I tell this, and it's true. A little funny, whatever. My guys laugh when they hear it, and it's the truth. It's like, hey, all those little things add up. You talk about your sleep, your nutrition, your recovery, all those different things. In the 20 years I've been a coach, I've never had one kid that has ever come back and said, Coach, I wish I would have partied more in college. Damn, I wish I would have been drinking a hell of a lot more beer, or that I could have probably ate a couple more Big Macs before my competition. Never once have I ever heard someone say that. It's always the opposite. Shocking, right? It's like, damn, I drank too much. I stayed up playing video games all night too much. Hell, I didn't go to class. Like, that's the things that I wish I wouldn't have done those things.
I mean, I will tell you, I wish I would have ate more of Troy Hadrick's beef earlier.
Yeah.
That's a whole different story.
Yeah. So it's comical, right? You think it is easy, right? Obvious. But when you're talking to invincible kids, no, they don't see it through those eyes. They see it as, hey, man, I can't be fazed. I can do what I want. And that's where you're trying to continue to educate and, mentor these guys to do some of the little things and that are going to ultimately help them be better versions of themselves. So, yeah, that's the fun part.
So you talk about culture a little bit there when you're talking about everything. And
yeah,
I just want to put another note to that is, excuse me, if you look around at what we have over these last 8 years, nobody's really left. Like,
No.
Even the kids that have graduated.
All right. Knock on wood.
Like the transfer portal, but I mean, really, like the kids that even have graduated. Like, you got Clay in the room as a coach. You got Tanner Cook as a Berge coach. You got, like, you guys put on that alumni practice or whatever with all the guys a couple months ago. You seen that picture? Like, that is the group that has been here for 8 years. Like, I look back at the first time I walked in the wrestling room to write a story, and like, it seems like them same guys 8 years later are still here. The coaching staff is still here, like, and everything. Like, the culture is, I think, what makes SDSU what we are with you.
Well, I can tell you this, man. You hear a lot of different programs, different sports talk about culture, right? It's probably one of the most cliche words that people use.
Sure, for sure.
What is their culture? People, you hear it from some of the best programs out there. Our culture, and it's like, hey, when you're winning, culture's pretty freaking easy when you're winning. All right. And you could have a dumpster fire and you're winning, but hey, everybody looks the other way, right? Nobody holds people accountable, but we're winning. Our culture, dude. No, you want to talk about culture? How about when you freaking stink and you win 3 duels in a first year and you have guys like, what the F is going on? Right? Talk about that culture and keeping guys together and getting them on board of a system that is going to help them develop as people and student athletes. That's the culture I'm talking about. And we have been able to build this culture of success, people coming through on what they say they're going to do, right? I mean, that facility was a big responsibility for me because I gave people my word. And I literally was talking to somebody today in athletics, and it's like, look, you want to build a culture, you want to build a relationship, you want to build these things. And I'm kind of, to a fault, I am very transparent, right? I want you to know who I am, because if I want to build a relationship with you, I don't need you thinking, ooh, I don't know about this guy. Is he, full of it? Like, can I trust him? Like,
salesman.
Yeah, 100%. And so for me, it's like, that is culture. That is culture within your program. My guys know where we stand, right? My guys know what to expect. They know they know what they're going to get from our staff. And so we have built a culture of success based on trust in our relationships. And so that has taken time. And you talking about guys coming back, you know that we've had as recent as, Tanner Sloan graduated. He goes down to Iowa. He's got a job. Well, he moved back to Brookings.
See, I just saw him in Quick Star for the weekend.
Yeah. So he's back in Brookings. He's working here in town and he's training. He comes back. AJ Nevels.
I have to deal with him every day.
Yeah. AJ?
I'm sorry. The way you said that was the best.
I know.
Yeah.
I meant to tee that up at some point here.
Yeah.
So
AJ Nevels. He leaves, moves back to California, and now AJ's back. And he's working in Brookings, but he lives in Sioux Falls. And now, they're looking to move back up to Brookings. And this is a kid from California, right? And he's back. You got Tanner Cook. Tanner Cook, after graduating, moved out to Boston and started, a sales job, and he's back. He's back here in Brookings. Tanner Jordon hasn't left. He's working here in Brookings and a part of the program. And Brady and Zach Carlson's coming back, and so you have all these guys that literally want to be around and be part of something that honestly they have built, and they know what we are, who we are, and what we're about. And that's special. It really is. It was like, when I went to Minnesota, I might be 99% of the guys that I wrestled with, they're all still there in the Twin Cities, and they all have some involvement. It might not be on the mat. It might be in their booster club. It might be something. And, that takes time. That takes time to build, and you gotta trust the people you're with. And so I think it's awesome that these guys are all coming back, and these guys still want to be part of something, because it truly is bigger than yourself, right? These guys were part of a process. These guys were really on the ground level building what we have today. And I can't thank these guys enough, because, man, if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be in the position we're in, right? They were the trailblazers. They were the ones that kind of got us to where we need to be. So Corey, are they helping out with AAU and up? We have a couple of our guys that are, I don't know so much AAU, but USA wrestling. AAU, my kids grew up in AAU. When they start to get to a certain point, USA Wrestling is our governing body for the Olympic styles. And so we need, and nothing against AAU, it's great, but we also need to start incorporating some of that USA stuff. You talk about junior nationals, junior duels, they're all USA wrestling events. You talk about making world teams and the Olympics, that's all USA wrestling events. So our guys are involved at some point, at some level. You got Brady, you got Cook, and Carlson, they're working with youth and the high school club kind of deal. So we have our hands in a lot of different things, and the AAU component's good. We need to keep that and grow in our USA wrestling.
I think with that also, one thing that is good and will keep Jackrabbit Wrestling good for years to come is these guys are putting the time in with Bergie and stuff like that when they leave. But that's also building the culture right there for what the culture is in the college wrestling room, because it's coming from what they learned with you. And I know that's something that I've learned. My cousins do Bergie and stuff like that, and that's something they've really pushed. They don't know that I know the culture of you that much, but I can just see their culture coming from what you taught these kids going into the Bergie deal, like the
Yeah,
coaches now?
it's good because we kind of have a same common philosophy, right? You know, you have a system that works, and we're able to implement that at every level of the game. And so when you're having these youth and come through and be able to kind of have a hands-on experience, learn from some of the greats, if you will, or some of the best wrestlers, it really does help. Like, I mean, these kids today, and not to get too into it, but these kids today have no idea how good they got it. I mean, absolutely no idea. I mean, you have
Careful, you're starting to sound old.
What's that?
Say careful, you're starting to sound old.
I know, but like I don't mean it like that. I mean it like, dude, like my dad was my coach. My dad wrestled a year in high school. Like, he watched wrestling. We didn't have the internet. We didn't have cell phones. We didn't have any of these things. So, like, you actually had to go and learn and go to a camp, a clinic, go to tournaments and to actually learn these things. And so these kids are getting hands-on experience with elite level kids. Like, man, I mean, that they are freaking fortunate, and it's awesome that they're being afforded that opportunity, right? Because there wasn't that, when we were coming through. And so I hope they understand. I do. And I hope they understand how amazing that opportunity is, and how amazing their parents or whoever is supporting their journey. I mean, that is awesome. Like they're so fortunate. And I don't want our kids to take that for granted, because not everybody has that opportunity. And we have that right here in Brookings. And that's what's cool, because you have our guys have been part of the program, giving it back and, establishing some things, here that ultimately are going to continue to help us grow and be better. And so it's amazing. It truly is. It's a great situation.
So 2 little housekeeping notes here quick.
Yeah.
Wednesdays, when do they start?
Wednesdays will start, I think, next week, right?
Next Wednesday.
We have our, we open next Friday. We will recap this weekend. So I hope, hey, Gus, if you're hearing us, we're coming next Wednesday. I don't know if we told you yet. Maybe not.
May have an in to help you out there. My wife started. My wife quit working full time, working there now. So.
Okay. All right. Well,
they got a lot going on down there right now too. So.
Yeah. I know Cody was going to reach out and let him know. I think next Wednesday we'll start, and we'll get it back going, doing our luncheons at Cubby's. And I remember the first time I went was my first year here, and Cody's like, "Hey, we do these luncheons." I'm like, "Okay, what do we do?" And he's like, "Well, we go down to Cubby's and we eat with people." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, all right, let's go do this." And so I go down there, and we're in the back room. I don't know, a couple dozen people, and literally we're just eating, and everyone's like kind of having their own conversations, talking this, talking that. And I was like, is this what we really do? Like, we just come here and eat amongst ourselves? And he's like, well, yeah. I was like, well, I'm not doing this. I was like, we're changing how we do these luncheons. Like, if we're going to be here, we're going to get something accomplished. And he's like, all right, well, what do you have in mind? I go, we'll start now. I just got up and I just started talking. And I was like, all right, I need everybody's attention. And I just started talking. And so it's an hour usually of, I think I take like 3 breaths and I just continue to talk for an hour. And
it's so out of character for you.
And I just open it up.
Right.
All right. Yeah. I open it up at the end for questions, and we get some questions, some some borderline questions, and if they're there, I mean, our people that come, they come every week, and if they're there and we're comfortable enough, we're close enough where, I'll tell them things that give them a little bit of insider, information on some topics, and I think that's what people appreciate, right? I mean, don't sugarcoat it for me, right? Don't blow smoke up, my rear. I mean, like, I don't like that. Like, just hit me with it, tell me how it is, and we'll go from there. And so I think the people appreciate, when we go to these luncheons, and I tell them, hey, this is what we're looking at, and this is what we have coming, and this is what we need to do, and so on and so on. So yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, Jordan, because next week we will start.
And then the other thing is, do you guys have a date yet for the JWC raffle?
Yes. You put me on the spot, dude.
That sounds like a Cody question.
January 31st.
Yeah. We actually have a date. Let me look at my phone here.
I'm going to guess the 31st, in between Air Force and Northern Colorado.
It might be. It might be. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, Cody knows for sure.
Look for a tweet later this week.
Yeah. Cody knows for sure. And that's, those two events, our golf outing and then our raffle, those are really the two events that we run that support a lot of what we do. Obviously, you have your solicitation, and we have our monthly members that are able to sign up and do a monthly reoccurring payment to our club, which is uber helpful. But those two events that we run bring in a bulk of what we do. And it's fun. It really is. Obviously you get something out of it, right? You go to the golf, you get to golf. You go to the raffle, you get food and drink all night, and you have a chance to win some money and bid on prizes. But more importantly, it's fun for me. Dude, we've been at this now an hour and 22 minutes. And dude, we can go another hour and 22 minutes. Like
100%. But I think Alex has to put kids down.
No, they're asleep. I can go.
Yeah, I enjoy talking to people, and that's the fun part about, I honestly think, college athletics, or just athletics in general. The people that you meet, the experiences that you share, and just the time spent, right? Like, that is awesome. The relationships that you build. So those are those events, right? You get to see people that you haven't seen, or you get to see the people you see all the time, and reminisce about, the good times. Talk about the bad times, but these are your closest people that, if it weren't for them, again, financially, we wouldn't be where we are. And it takes a village, man. It truly does. And every little component is crucial to our overall success. But check with Cody. Cody will know that date.
I haven't texted him recently, so I'll have to. I know he's got his younger ones getting big, I'm sure. And
so the little one, man, it's so we got two like, how old do you need to be to not be considered a newborn anymore?
I have no idea. That's
okay,
not a
so
chat.
what,
8 to 9 months.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah. So we still have two like newborns. Clay and Cody.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
they got little ones. And it's comical because Clay's, she's tiny. Cody's massive, like 2 times the size. And it's not like he's a big freaking baby. I mean, you got Cody. He ain't small. The dude eats weights every day. And Haley, I mean, she's Division I volleyball. I mean? So yeah, you got some big kids. I mean, it is what it is. So, but yeah, so I guess they're considered newborns. So we got 2 newborns. Just, they're not running around yet. I think they're sitting up now. They're sitting up and making a lot more noise, and it's fun. those are that is the future, the future. So it's good.
That's definitely part of the culture, is that family aspect that you guys have really had on the coaching staff. And we know you could talk for hours on end with us, and we'd love that. But we got to honor your time with your family. And so I think at that we can maybe just get a go Jacks on 3 and call this a night. What do you say?
Sounds good.
You want to lead us off, Coach?
All right. 1, 2, 3.
Go Jacks.